World.
Hello, it's 8 o'clock in the morning here in the UK, and I think it's 9 o'clock with you.
9 o'clock in Amsterdam, yes.
Yes, and we are here together in this live.
I'm JJ van Zon.
Yeah, and I am Vanessa Wallace from Crystal Clear Retreats. Obviously, you're watching this on the Crystal Clear Retreats page. So we've been doing this for the last 4 weeks.
Yeah, I know.
Every Monday morning.
It's a thing now.
At the same time. So yeah, it's our little show, and we've done lots of yay. We've done quite a few topics. We've looked at all sorts of things. Can't list them off now. They've just gone. I get that quite often. I have a thought and then it's like, oh, it's disappeared and I can't grab it back.
I think we can all relate.
Yeah. I know what I'm going to talk about today, or we are going to talk about today, because yesterday we did our anxiety recovery workshop, didn't we? And oh my God, it went so well.
Yeah. First of all, I really want to say a little prayer and thank the technology, because everything went peachy yesterday. So that, is always a worry, of course. But it worked out. That was fine. So
yeah, it did go really well, didn't it?
Tick that box, yes.
Yeah. What I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to check on technology now, and I'm going to just check that we're live on the page, so I can see if there's anyone here, because on the page I can't see the comments. Just bear with me. Let's open that up again. Oh well. Don't want to disappear into...
And as Vanessa's checking the comments, I'm just going to ask you how you are.
Yeah, how is everybody?
Isn't it a fabulous day today?
It is beautiful. Actually, the sun is out here. Have you got sun there?
Yes. Yeah. I actually covered the blind, because otherwise I cannot, that's not good for my eyes to see sunshine in my screen.
Yeah.
So, because every morning at 8 Dutch time, at 7 UK time, I'm showing up for on my YouTube channel for a meditation. And I believe a couple of people from yesterday's workshop also attended. I cannot tell who, because, then they have to put a comment in. But normally I have about 10 people, and now it was raised up by 5. So it's nice. Yeah. The collective is growing.
Yes, amazing. And they are so beneficial, those meditations in the morning. And I mean, that's something I've really learned from you, because, what I wanted to talk about today was, the combination of our work together. And, I'm a cognitive behavior therapist. I'm very much looking at your thoughts, your emotions, how to manage your emotions, but also that our thinking can be it's a really important thing to look at, and the neuroscience behind that. Neuroscience is a big word, but the fact that our brain works in a certain way, and actually that if we understand that, it can really help us to manage our thoughts, because actually they are just thoughts, but they can be really, really powerful. And then your part is the body part. So that's what we did yesterday afternoon. We combined the two of those, and I've learned over the work that I've done with you over the last few years since I've met you, that it's really helped me to manage my mood swings. And it's just having that, you call it me time coaching with JJ Van Zon. It is a me time in the morning. How important is that, to have that me time, that space, and I do that on a regular basis now.
Yeah, and especially if you have the tendency for anxiety or depression, it is crucial, like I have, it is crucial to have that moment of me time where you can just confront that and just see what is good in this moment, what is real. Because if you're anxious, you're not in the present moment, because fear is running away with you, so that's not a real, it's a worry, or it's a grudge from the past or something. And with a depression, you're in a totally different state, but also it's not the reality. So if you have one moment a day where you just have that me time moment, where you say, hey, okay, now I'm going to practice to be present and see what the present moment, all has to give, because it has a lot of gorgeousness and fabulousness to give. And the moment, and especially when you do that in the morning, you fill your cup up with nice energy, so that the rest of the day you're armored up, right?
Absolutely. Warrior pose.
Yeah, boom. Confidence, yes. And
Mm.
confidence is, of course, it's the opposite of low self-esteem. It's the opposite of insecurity. And a moment when you are kind of insecure, that is when the ego can swoop in and take over. And that is something that we need to avoid. But you need to
Yeah.
train that.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you speak about that me time moment, I've got Sarah in here, and she's saying that she can't hear you, JJ.
She can't hear me,
No,
but you can. You can.
I can hear you. Yes. Okay. I wonder why. Let me see if she can hear you now. Can you
Can you hear me now?
hear him now? Can you hear him now? Oh dear. Technology, there we were just saying
Technology, yeah.
how technology was so brilliant yesterday, and now it's doing something funny.
Yeah, I
This is
jinxed
all
it.
about like rolling with the moment. No, she says she still can't hear you. I'm going to take my
Okay,
headphones off.
me too. Maybe that's it. Testing, testing. Are you here? Vanessa, can I hear you?
I can hear you.
Yeah, okay.
You can hear me. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
That was
Testing,
fun. I thought
testing.
we're going to have a whole video. We're going, can you hear me?
Everything is in, so I think she should hear me.
Okay.
Can she put in the chat if she can hear me now?
Okay, I've just asked her again, and I'm going to wait for a reply. That's
That's
better, she
better.
says. Yay!
Yay. Okay. So see, my husband said I needed to be silent, so I had to put in this. This is all my husband's fault. Thank you, Sarah, for clearing that up. I will punish him later. No.
Oh, well, he'll have to put up with you for the next 15 minutes while we're still on this line.
Yes. Okay.
This is
So
too
thank you.
important. This is way too important.
Yeah.
What we do
No,
every
no, it's fine. It's fine. The door's
Monday
closed.
morning.
It's fine. It's fine. So, all right. So where were we?
So we were talking about the me time moments. We were talking about the having that space to just. I'm going to repeat a little bit about of what you said, actually, because you were talking about having that space where you can reflect, where you can acknowledge, and you can just be in touch. And I was going to say back to that, actually, that is so important, because it's the awareness of where you actually are, how you're feeling. And I mean, it's a question I ask my clients all the time, and you can see people kind of squirming in their seats. I hated it when I was in treatment, because I was in rehab for a whole year, and one of the most common questions they asked me was, how are you feeling? And I hated it, because it's like, I don't know how I'm feeling, and it was almost not in my language. But I realized that there was a reason behind that, and the reason for that is so that I can be aware of what's going on for me, what's going on both in my mind, in my body, in my spirit. And from that, then I started the journaling, and actually writing down my thoughts and my feelings on a daily basis, because it provides that awareness. And you can look back and you can see, you can go, oh wow, actually I had this progression throughout the week. And that leads me on to kind of my mood swings, because I recognize that I go up and down and up and down and up and down throughout the week. And the yoga and meditation that I've done with you, that I've learned over the last 3 years, I've always been interested in it, but I never really got into it. And there was someone in the group yesterday who said, since I've done yoga with JJ, it's made such a difference. And he's the only yoga teacher that I've been able to connect with. And I think there's something about the the mind-body connection that you talk about. And that's good for us who struggle with anxiety and depression, because it's not just about going and doing some moves and, you know, bending in all different directions. It's the explanation of how that connects with our bodies and actually being aware of that.
Yeah, but I think that was lovely of her to mention that. And what I got from that is that it's I understand because I've been there. You know, you were talking about your rehab. I haven't been in rehab. I didn't do AA, and I can still drink my wine right now. But I've done other stuff that I needed to recover from, and so I know how it is to be in a dark place where you're addicted. I know what it's like to be depressive, to be depressive or anxious. Um, and the moment when spirituality came on my path and I started my spiritual journey, I got so many answers, and I was like, oh, wow, why don't I know this? And so I kind of created my own yoga and meditation plan, uh, specifically also to help me stay on the right path. And I guess that resonates with people who are on that path, maybe a couple of years behind me, but they are still resonating with. So that was for me as well proof that 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 it's working.
Yeah. I mean, what I love about, love sounds a weird word, doesn't it? But for talking about these kind of things. But what I do love about your story is the fact that you talk about that depth that you went to. And when you talk about it, I almost picture, you know, that dark place, you know, because I was there too. You know, I relate to that. And, you know, my dark place ended in a car accident, you know, which I actually believe was some kind of intervention from something a lot bigger than me that just kind of came in and just plucked me out and said, look, hey, you need to sort this out.
Yeah.
And those moments where you go, oh my gosh, something needs to change here. I think those moments are really important. And those moments are sometimes, I didn't even think I would talk about this today, but I am. So I'm going to go with it. Those depths that we can get to sometimes, but actually those could be the most enlightening moments. You know, I work with a lot of people who go through trauma.
Yeah.
And trauma is a horrible thing to go through. But sometimes trauma can bring so much out of it, because in trauma you kind of have to look and go, okay, what's going on here? How am I feeling? You get pushed into that position where it's like, I have to do something about this. It's make or break.
Yeah.
And, you know, I know that, you know, your husband Carl as well talks about that as well, in terms of trauma that he went through, a medical, I hope he doesn't mind me mentioning this. And, it, you know, which out of that came a new life, a new experience.
Yeah.
And, you know, you spoke yesterday about how people were being open about, you know, and vulnerable and sharing, and that's so important in that journey. And that's what happened to me when I was in rehab, and it took me a while to get used to it. I was kicking and screaming against it because I was a very, very private person. You know, you wouldn't know anything about me. It was all about how well I was doing on the outside. You know, I was doing well at school, I was going to university, I was, you know, I thought I was, and actually it was a bit of a smokescreen because I think people could see that I was in trouble. But I thought I was doing okay. And I had to become vulnerable and share how I felt and what was going on for me. And we saw that yesterday in the group, didn't we? And, you know, it was so nice. And the connection that people get from that. And that moment of like, actually, I'm not alone. So it's so valuable, because otherwise we think we're some kind of weirdo and the only person who feels like that.
Yeah. And that I totally relate from that feeling from yesterday, because that inspired me to do my meditation this morning, which was called Meditation That Helps with Loneliness. Just that connection that we have, that is already here in the present moment, you know. So yeah, and going back to trauma, what inspired me when you said it. I was like, yeah, the ego, the works it thinks it works in extreme thoughts, right? So a trauma, maybe if you're in a trauma, you have no idea how to get out of it. You want to get rid of it, but unfortunately, you have to deal with the feelings and the thoughts of the trauma. But that experience will always be part of you.
Yeah.
You cannot erase it, right? So I have that too. I still have those moments when I like, oh my God, here I go again. I'm gonna go back into addiction. I'm gonna go back into low self-esteem. I'm worthless. Life is better off without me. But the moment when I go back into that state is when I realize, okay, I need to put up my me time moments. I need to extend those moments to come back in balance. So that extreme thinking that many of us probably have, you need to be aware of that, and you need to know that ego controls that extreme thinking. And that is why I love your part of the deal, the cognitive behavioral therapy, because you really go into those thoughts, and that is the awareness. So I think that's why we collaborate so well. You're very in the thoughts, and I'm very creating with the body, and that is how people get the whole deal.
Absolutely. And thought produces a chemical reaction in the body. So we have, I spoke yesterday about and you spoke about it as well, the parasympathetic and the sympathetic. The sympathetic kicks in, and at the moment, I think everybody's sympathetic systems are quite triggered.
Yeah, we're talking about the nervous system, by the way.
Oh, sorry, did I not explain that?
No, because otherwise people are sympathetic, parasympathetic. What? It's the nervous system.
Okay, thank you for that. This is why I don't do videos on my own, because I go off into some kind of technical language and people are like, what is she talking about?
Got you, darling. Got your back.
Thank you. So let me try and explain this simply. So when we get under stress, because I relate to this, because I used to call myself a stress junkie. After I was a heroin junkie, I then became a stress junkie because I was almost addicted to it. But what stress caused in me was a heightened adrenaline. So I used to get this adrenaline. It was running around in my body all the time. And I realized that this adrenaline, and I realize now in hindsight that adrenaline was linked to my thinking. So it was all because I had this real kind of thinking about the past, thinking about the future, what's happening here, what's going to happen there, what if this, what if that, blah, 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 going on in my mind all the time. And that is so stressful for the body, because the messages that your brain's getting all the time is there's something going to happen, we're at risk here, we need to be on alert, we need to kind of have, be aware of what's going on, there's danger, and that produces adrenaline.
Yeah.
And the anxiety levels go up and up and up. So that is the sympathetic, that's what we call the sympathetic.
Yeah.
Did I explain that better?
Yeah, it's kind of a vicious circle as well, because I remember back in the day when I was always on heat, as I say it, because that's when you're doing on sympathetic, that's how it feels.
Yeah, that's a good way to explain it. Yeah.
And it's like even if that is combined with being insecure, then your mind never stops, because you're always on a loop, like, oh shit, I should have done this differently. And you're gonna kind of in a loop, you're gonna imagine the next time you're gonna do it differently. This is how you are awake at night. This is why it never stops. And especially when you're don't sleep that well, you're also not resting, so your parasympathetic also cannot recharge you. So you're kind of draining your body, and you're walking on your reserves. And then all of a sudden, you get burnout, you get stressed, and all the other stuff that is all a result of only being on that sympathetic nervous system. So yoga, basically, to keep it simple, activates that parasympathetic nervous system that is calm, that is female energy, that is the yin, and that you need to be healthy, to be at your strongest. And so if you don't want to make it all very difficult, yoga is about activating that parasympathetic, so you really create that balance so you can relax and stuff. That is basically, if you're very stressed or suffering from something, that is what yoga can do to you. That is why it's so beneficial. And meditation and breathing is also part of yoga. Yes, yoga is not only body movements.
Yeah.
Sorry, had to be
No,
firm.
don't be sorry at all. Why are you sorry?
No,
That's
I know,
very
because
negative
I thought I was very strict.
Yeah, but I like that, because it's like, yeah, this is what you do.
Yeah, you like that side of me. Ooh.
No,
Cool.
what I wanted to say though, JJ, was because I think not everything is for everybody. So there's lots of let me start again. When I work with people, I take them on a journey of discovering what's going to work for them, because I think sometimes we can go to a therapist or a coach and they're like, right, this is the way, this is what's going to help you. But actually, I so believe, and that's why I did that exercise yesterday, in the power of what we have inside us. So we know you took that guidance when you were depressed, your internal guidance, you meditated, that's what helped you. For me, I needed to manage my thoughts. So that's why I leaned towards the cognitive behavior therapy. I went and studied it, because it was so helping me. So we all have our own thing that helps us. And what I do is, when I work with people, I provide them with a platform, because my way may not be right for them. Your way might not be right for them, but they can have that platform on the retreats that I do to explore what's going to work for them. So the kicking in that parasympathetic, so that rest and repair, like you say with the yoga, there's other ways as well that you can do that, like creative things. Some people get into sport, into running, there's lots of different ways that people can find a way to rest and repair. But the important thing is that you do find that time out for yourself, so that me time. And it's the same with the thinking skills. It's different for everybody. Everybody thinks in a different way. I mean, there are a lot of common themes, like I'm not good enough is a big theme that a lot of people have. So it's working out what's going on for individuals, and I think that's so important. It's about how you are as a person and what's going to work for you. Whoa, we've run out of steam.
Huh?
We've run out of steam.
Run out of steam. No. I've got. So, yeah. Cool.
Has anyone got any questions? There's a couple of people watching, I think. Has anyone got any questions? We've got about 5 minutes, I think, and then we're going to close this up. But I just wondered if anybody's got any questions, or wants to comment anything on what we're saying. What are we going to do next week? While I'm waiting for a question to come in.
Oh, are we deciding that here on camera?
Oh, I don't know.
Well, I just wanted to, because that was what I was getting a little distracted, but because I wanted to talk about the mood swings that you referred to in the beginning. What happens with the mood swing is that you've got it's a feeling. And coming back to what you said, I hate that question. How are you feeling right now? Right. That feeling that you're having, that emotion, when you start to kind of resist it, or you're going to go with it, that is kind of the balance that you need to have. But before, what is important with that is that you are aware of it. That is, I think, the crucial point. Because yes, sometimes the feeling is there, and you either resist it or you go with it. But you have to be aware on the effect. So if there's a mood swing and you're going all the way, oh, I don't want to get up now, I'm going to lay down in bed for a couple of 3 hours, and I'm not going to do the stuff that was on my schedule, that has an effect, and you feel worse and you feel worse. So of course, if that happens, it happens, but create awareness of why you are doing it and what the effect is. And the moment when you create awareness with the me time moment in the morning or whatever, when you get armored up, you really are equipped to create that awareness and to tell yourself, okay, you know what, I feel this way, but I'm still gonna do it. I'm gonna feel that anxiety, but I know this is just a feeling, and you kind of breathe through it. And it is not easy, and as you said, I'm totally down with when you coach people or when you are in therapist. I wrote a whole book about stubbornness and that everyone is entitled to their unique life. So I'm not down with what I call the American coaching, like you need to do this, this, and this, and then you will become better. Where in Europe are a little bit more, openness. I'm sorry if I generalize there, but that's a little bit my opinion. But what is very important here is that you also need to do some homework. You can, because how it's not for us as coaches, as therapists, you cannot help these people. These people need to help themselves, right? So if you are having an anxiety or having depression and you suffer from anything, you cannot expect that a therapist will just, magically make it disappear. You need to do your effort. And as I mentioned yesterday as well, somebody asked me about meditation. Meditation, you can do it any way you want. Everything is good. Even if you just sit in silence for 2 minutes and that's it. Now, if you do that every day, you'll have the benefits, but you need to do it on a consistent base, and you need to do it. I wanted to say that I was still processing before.
Yes. And I think the key message from that, there's a comment in which I'm going to mention in a minute, but the key message from that is give things time. So, don't, if you come across a new approach and somebody's saying, yes, this is going to help you, give it a go, give it some time. Because, the stubbornness is there. And boy, if they hadn't kept me in that rehab for the 6 months that they kept me there, after that, I got a bit of freedom, I probably would have walked and gone off and done my own thing. And because I was very stubborn, I was very self-willed, I was very kind of, right, this is my way, I'm going to do it my way. And so give it time. That's my message. I'm just going to pop over to the comments. So Sarah says, I watched JJ's YouTube meditation this morning. I loved it, but couldn't comment for some reason. Don't know why that was.
Okay, well, there's a chat where you can comment, and otherwise you can still leave your comment. Go back to my YouTube channel. There's the video, and then underneath you can leave your comment. It would be lovely to have your comment underneath my video, if you want to do that.
So go back there, and maybe you'll find it below the video once it's kind of uploaded.
Yeah. Normally you can just tap into the chat. So I have no idea what your software is and etc. and how that works. But
it is different on different devices, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, technology.
I know, but it's still working.
Yeah. Okay, well, I've absolutely loved this morning. I loved spending yesterday afternoon with you and all the lovely people who joined us. And looking forward to the next one. So hopefully we'll be giving some updates on that very soon. So, do tune in next week, same time.
Next week, same time. Are we talking about May?
Don't know. Yeah, okay, quickly. We're doing a retreat, the full retreat, 3 days retreat, myself and JJ. 24th to the 26th of May, 2020. We are in 2020, so it's this year, but it's a retreat. You don't have to go away. You can do it from the comfort of your own home. And we're going to be doing all the things that we do together over the 3 days, and you will come away.
Three full yoga classes. We've got workshops about spirituality and how to cope with that. We've got you as a coach working with everyone, doing workshops. So I'm already, that's why I brought it up, because I'm already excited.
Yes, I'm very excited as well. But it's the ultimate in enlightenment, empowerment. People told me that I need to put the word empowered into my retreats, because they tell me that's what they feel when they come away from it. So if you want to feel empowered, you want to have 3 days of pure you time, just let us know. You can message me from the Crystal Clear Retreats page, or email me, Vanessa at Crystal Clear Coaching, if you're interested. You just want to have a chat about it and find out some more. I'll put my email underneath this video as well. Anyway, we better go.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. See you next week, love.
See you next week. And thank you to everybody who watched. Thank you to anyone who's watching this on the replay. Please feel free to put comments if you're watching this in replay. And we will see you next week. Bye.
Ciao.